Hey guys, Andy here with VSiN, and I'm about to get you set for Tuesday's action in the NHL. But first, let's talk a little bit about home ice advantage because, unlike other sports, hockey actually has a home advantage built into the rule book. Here's how it goes. During a stoppage in play, the final line change is given to the home team. So that means the home coach can wait for the away team coach to send their players out over the boards first. This allows them to strategically deploy their players either in a defensive posture or in an effort to create more offense. There was a great example of how this is done Monday night in the Canadiens and Penguins game when Pittsburgh head coach Mike Sullivan double shifted Sidney Crosby and it resulted in a goal. That's just one way that home teams can use the last change to their advantage. However, some teams use it better than others, and that is something that every bettor will have to take into account for themselves. I estimate home ice to be about 1.5% across the league. That means that teams are going to win a little bit more on home ice or when they're designated the home team than they would otherwise. It's not always going to result in a win, but it definitely shouldn't be dismissed because a hockey game is often decided by the smallest of margins. Another thing we should talk about are back-to-back games. Typically, we wouldn't see these in the playoffs, but these are not normal circumstances, and they're trying to fit a lot of games into a very short amount of time. So, in this play-in round, there are back-to-back games in each series. Now, we might not see them in each series, but we are going to see them in two on Tuesday. The Calgary Flames and Winnipeg Jets play Game 3 after playing on Monday, and the Carolina Hurricanes and New York Rangers play Game 3 after playing on Monday as well. I don't expect to see one team gain an advantage over the other because of the back-to-back situation. I might expect to see fewer events, like shot attempts and scoring chances and maybe even goals. But with that being said, let's get into the games. First up, the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. I've got the Jets' chances of winning the series at 45% without Mark Scheifele and Patrick Laine, and it remains to be seen whether either of those players will suit up for Game 3. Like I said, the Jets are designated the home team now, and that should provide them with a little bit of an advantage. The Jets entered Game 2 as a plus 145 underdog, and if their Game 3 price gets anywhere near there, I'll probably jump in and back the Jets. New York Rangers were a trendy pick heading into the play-in round, with some dismissing the Carolina Hurricanes because of their affiliation with the analytics community. And while the series may have turned out differently had rookie sensation Igor Shesterkin started in goal for the Rangers, the fact that the team's top stars like Artemi Panarin and Chris Kreider haven't really showed up is what's really hurt them. The Hurricanes will likely win this series about 90% of the time. However, depending on who starts in goal for the Rangers tomorrow, I may get involved at plus 130 or better. Now let's get into the other matchups. Florida at New York. I have the Islanders winning this one about 68% of the time after winning Game 1. I went into this series with the Panthers as a slight favorite. However, things didn't turn out very good. I've got a lot of pre-flop bets on the Florida Panthers at plus 105, plus 110, and plus 115, and I'm just hoping that those tickets don't end up in the garbage. Next up, it's the Nashville Predators and the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Nashville didn't get off to a great start in Game 1, getting themselves into penalty trouble early. However, Arizona didn't really do themselves any favors either. The Predators were able to get back into the game after going down 3-1 in a rather unfortunate way. I think the Predators will push back and it'll be a much closer game this time around. The Arizona Coyotes should win this series about 60% of the time, but I don't see value on either side as the Coyotes' odds should be about minus 150 and they're sitting around minus 160. Of course, I'd be remiss if I did not talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, who prior to the series I had winning about 64% of the time. That number has dropped, obviously, as the Leafs fell to the Columbus Blue Jackets in Game 1, and now sits at about 44%. I don't see value in either side's series price at the current prices, And I have a bet on the Maple Leafs to win the series at minus 165, so I think I'll hang tight with that. Yes, these Blue Jackets swept the Tampa Bay Lightning in last year's playoffs, but they're missing a lot of the big pieces that helped them do so. With that being said, my price for game 2 sits at about minus 145 in favor of the Maple Leafs. In other words, I don't see any value on the money line. Last but not least, the Vancouver Canucks will try to even their best of 5 series against the Minnesota Wild, a team who they did not have an answer for in game 1. However, I made the Canucks a small favorite heading into this play-in, and I'm not going to throw away my projection. If the Canucks price continues to go the other way, I'm going to back them as a home underdog at plus 110 or better. Well, guys, that's all for Tuesday. Good luck and enjoy the hockey action, and don't forget to subscribe to the VSiN newsletter.